Hey traders, Mike Sir here. Welcome to my Trade with Mike Sir live stream video series where I help you navigate the US stock market and see what type of opportunities are out there. So thanks for joining me on a Monday morning here, and let's get started. All right, just a normal disclaimer. Please consult your financial advisor before making financial decisions. The analysis that I will provide are for educational and entertainment purposes only. All right, so let's get right straight into it. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to review the overall U.S. Stock market and give you a little bit of my analysis. So let's start off with the S&P 500, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. So, first of all, I want to let you guys know this is not an ideal environment for swing trading. Okay. The market is very, very volatile, and you can essentially see that the main direction actually has been down. But even though the trend is actually down, you can see the type of reversals like right here on Thursday, move up here, and then suddenly at Friday you got gap down, and today the market gapped up, and now it's getting weaker. So it's not an ideal condition for swing trading just because of volatility intraday wise. It's a phenomenal environment for people who are day trading just because of the fluctuations in the market. And I'll show you some of the reasons why I say that. But let's take a look at the overall S&P 500 index, which gives you a good sentiment of what is going on in the US stock market. So we are holding by a thread right at this rising trend line here, and it has bounced off of it today. What is a little bit concerning is that anytime that we have any significant rise, we saw this right at the beginning of January, we basically have sold off. So what the market has been telling us is any type of strength is being sold, and it's not necessarily an environment where you have a bull market where strength is where you add more positions, or strength is where you keep buying, or strength is where you are looking for opportunities to buy into strength. The market is signaling to us that the market is quite weak, and particularly Friday, there was a PCE inflation data indicating that inflation is still a big concern in the US. So hence the market fell very, very sharply on Friday. Now, to me, what this is signaling today is just a bounce. I have not changed my stance. I still have a bias towards the downside. However, what I would say in terms of some positivity of the markets is that we're holding this trend line here, but if we break 39 here, basically the lows on Friday, I think we are going to head much, much lower. And in fact, there's a lot of talk that we may actually test the October lows. Okay. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I suspect that if we do break this 3944 level, 3800 is not out of the question in terms of the S&P. All right, let's take a look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has done incredibly well since the beginning of this year. Has outperformed a lot of the indices, but has now pulled back very, very sharply. And the area that I'm looking at, and I think I said to you guys last week, 12,157 is a level. As long as we're staying under this, we are probably heading lower. The only thing that I can say is that if you were to look at a little bit of a longer time frame, since the beginning of last year, you see this big, big downtrend here. We've broken it, so you can sort of say that we've broken the downtrend. We're heading higher, but it's short-term wise. I think it will head a little bit lower. And again, the October lows are right here. So it may come back down to test this level here, right where it originally broke, right around 11,500. But we'll see. And as I mentioned to you guys, we are traders. We're not speculators. We are trying to trade according to what the market is telling us. And right now, the market is telling us short term, we're quite weak. All right. The two stock ideas that I gave you guys last week was Apple and PDD. Okay. So I want to let you guys know I'm canceling the trade on Apple. Apple was looking like a flag formation, consolidating, but on Friday it broke outside of that flag. And once it broke out of the flag, the pattern of the flag is basically voided. So I'm canceling that trade. Okay. The PDD trade. Okay. If you guys want any updates on it, make sure that you look at the comments area on the day that of the video in the comments area. I mentioned to you that the stock, I was looking to short this right here. Once it broke here, it gapped down massively, okay, from my entry point on Tuesday. So I did not get in. So my general rule, and again, it's always up to you what you feel comfortable with. My general rule is if a stock gaps up more than 1 to 2% from my initial entry price, that additional risk I'm not going to take. So I didn't take that trade, even though it would have worked out. Mind you, past 2 days it's rebounded a little bit, but essentially this trade's over. Okay, so I'm canceling that trade. Now, in terms of ideas for you guys this coming week, you guys are in for a little bit of a treat, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through how I look for ideas and look for opportunities in the market, and how I put together a watch list. Okay, I'll see if there are any suitable opportunities. What I will say, as I said earlier, is this market is quite volatile, not a great swing trading environment. But if I see something that a little bit more clear, I may add it to my portfolio. All right, so I just want to give you some ideas. I've been kind of monitoring Google. Okay, Google has been hurt really badly by the ChatGPT competitor, and especially with Microsoft investing into ChatGPT, their business model is being exposed. So you can see here, I'm drawing this trend line here. So it's testing the support here. Now, obviously, Google is a big part of NASDAQ, so I'm a little hesitant. Generally, if I see the market stay relatively stable and maybe looking for a leg to go higher, I might look at this opportunity right here to buy around 90, basically at the level right now. And if it breaks through this trend line here, then I would look to sell. So it's not a bad opportunity, and I would probably target somewhere here. But I'm a little hesitant to suggest for you guys or add to my portfolio, just because I'm a little bit bearish on the market. But again, it's just an idea that I just wanted to share with you guys. Okay, Meta as well. Meta has gapped up due to good earnings, but now it's slowly fading. And again, something that I am considering is shorting this once it breaks this 167 level to fill this gap here. So I'm kind of still considering it. Mainly, the reason why I'm not as convinced is it's very choppy, right? It's very choppy. If we see some really weakness in the NASDAQ, I'll let you guys know whether this is opportune. But again, just want to share ideas with you. If it breaks this level, it'll probably target to fill this gap here, 154. Okay, NVIDIA is also a stock that I'm monitoring. It has done incredibly well. Okay, but if I see overall market weakness, this stock will come back down. And this stock is actually quite strong Their earnings has been really phenomenal, and this is why I gapped up here. They're in the right sector in terms of developing devices for AI, which I'm very, very bullish on. Got really good volume, but what again, we'll see. But what I'm thinking of is if it does come back and stay below 230, it might take a trade here and put my stop loss above here. But it's about $10, which is quite wide. But again, just ideas for you guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you exactly how I look for trading ideas, or actually, trading ideas on a day-to-day basis. So what I usually do, and again, if you guys have any symbols that you want me to review, just type them in the question box, and I'll get to it. So what I usually do is I go to cnbc.com, and then I go to an area where actually let me just go through this with you guys. So go cnbc.com. Then I usually go to where's that news headline? Usually where they talk about stocks that are in play. Okay, right here. Stocks making the biggest move midday. So then I just go through the list, and obviously these companies are moving up or down basically based on news. So then I would just basically go through each one, read what it's talking about, and then just go through charts. So Union Pacific. I don't usually like trading these railway companies, but just let's take a look at it. UMP. Okay, usually again, it's not really volatile stock, so it's not really going to move much. But you can see right here, it's facing this resistance at 214. And at some point, it'll fill this gap. Okay, it'll probably head higher first. Maybe it's good news. But again, this is a stock that I usually don't like trading. It's not very volatile, so I'm going to pass on this. Fisker, okay, the EV company. Okay, Fisker has done incredibly poorly. You can see the stock was at some point $30-something, $23, and basically has been heading lower. All right, so they are basically saying that they are going to produce a certain number of EV vehicles by this year, or on track. So what you can see, it's basically trading this range. Very, very good volume. Okay, that's really good. My only concern is looking at this. Look at this spike here. No follow through. Spiked up a little bit and then fell back down. So obviously volume here is a lot higher. I will probably only get interested on this if it hits right here. Maybe I'll look to buy. And if it breaks above here. I don't want to trade in this range here. Okay, or if I can trade this range, buy here, sell here, right? This is what's been working. So, so again, something I'll maybe add to my watch list to look at. But again, this is something I need to probably do a little bit more due diligence, especially for swing trading. So something to look at. Okay, next one, Tesla. Okay. What did Tesla say? They rose 4% on Reuters report. They'll hit a production rate of 4,000 vehicles. Okay, so they're increasing production. Okay, so I'm looking at this stock here, this pattern. You can tell clearly it's very, very choppy. Look at this. I can't trade this. Okay, much easier to trade down here. So to me, if you look at this chart, it's basically stuck kind of in the middle. Probably my target is here, so pass. Okay, low cost lithium. Okay, Albemarle. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that. Alber. Okay, ALB. So let's take a look at it. It's a lithium chemical company. Not sure what this drop is here, so need to do a little bit research. But to me, it does look like a bear flag. Okay, big drop, volume very slow. It's probably gonna head lower. Okay, and the target's probably here, so it's not a huge mover. So I'll pass. Fryer battery. Okay, Firebright is something that I've been looking at before. Okay, now this is kind of interesting. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So it's kind of basing, which I like. So it's been dropping, sideways, basing. Kind of some resistance right here. So I like this, sideways, good volume today. What was the news on this? The battery stock was soared more than 10% after posting fourth quarter results. So good earnings. Okay, so then what I'll do, I want to do a little bit more due diligence. I'm going to add this stock to my watch list, okay, to do a little bit more research on the fundamentals before I decide. Okay, so you guys can see this is kind of what I do. I'm interested. Need to do a little bit more research. Add to my watch list. CGen. Okay, they're acquiring a company, so I don't need to look at that. Frozen food company has 7% upgrade. Attractive investment opportunity. Nomad Foods. Okay, usually I'm not a fan of trading food companies. It doesn't really move much. But let's take a look. Okay, you can see here, right? Very, very choppy, right? It's not. No. So I move on. Frontier Communications, blah, blah, blah. It's a telecom company. They reported upgraded the stock. Okay, you guys can see, like, I mean, obviously I'm doing this very, very fast, but for you guys to think about is, that's kind of how I do it, right? FYB, no. Okay, not interested. Healthcare, I'm not really crazy about trading healthcare companies. You got to really understand, healthcare, medical, pharmaceutical. I'm not a fan. Alphabet, we kind of talk about getting. So Bank of America reiterates overweight. So yeah, so it's some good news. But again, I already talked about Zillow, online real estate platform, gained 2%. Initiate coverage. They said something about real estate. So it's a online real estate model. Okay, let's take a look at it. I think I took a look at this already before. Okay, Z. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This stock has been decimated. Wow, this used to be a 200 something dollar stock. Fell very, very sharply, kind of basing here, going sideways. Now it's starting to go further up. Not crazy about the sector in general with real estate, especially with interest rates rising. But maybe let's see if there's a short opportunity. Okay, huge volume, been declining. I mean, overall, the trend is down, but there's no technical setup just yet. No, I'll move on. Polmox. Okay, so upgrade. Medical technology. Okay, I'm gonna pass on that. Krispy Kreme donuts. They will be selling Krispy Kreme donuts at McDonald's. Okay, let's take a look. Krispy Kreme. Okay, DN. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. But what is concerning, it's very good news. It went up here and it fell back down. So this is actually not a bad pattern because this is kind of a flag right here. So I'm gonna keep this on my watch list. But again, I'm kind of hesitant. Yeah, I'll just keep this on my watch list. See if it can break, or if it can't break. Generally, I don't like shorting this positive pattern. But I might be interested in shorting this here. Either short here or buy above here. So I'm going to add this to my watch list, and I'm going to do my due diligence on this. Okay. So you guys can see this is exactly what I do. All right. Okay. Another website that I usually go to, MarketWatch. Okay, marketwatch.com. Probably similar in terms of the stocks that CNBC talks about. But again, essentially, what I'm trying to do, I'm just basically looking for ideas, right? Looking for stuff that's moving on news or on earnings. So here they talk about Union Pacific. We talked about that. Tesla already talked about that. Energy company CTRA. Let's take a look at it. Okay, CTRA is an oil company. So obviously this is going to depend on oil prices. So nice double bottom here. Nice basing. Don't know if this is a big market mover, but essentially it's just basically going sideways. Okay. Let's take a look at oil, and I'll give you kind of my thoughts. Okay, oil. Take a look at the oil price. US oil. Okay, oil prices, I'm kind of a little bearish right now, thinking it head lower. So again, I don't know whether these oil companies will do quite well, but you can see here it's going down. But it's basically been going sideways since late last year, trading in between a range of 72 to 82. So I mean, quite a wide range. But the chart's telling me very bearish on oil. So I'm not going to touch any oil companies. Probably look to short. Actually, take a look at EQT. Again, you can see all these oil stocks are heading lower. So even though there might be some opportunities to buy, because I am bearish on oil, I'm not going to buy. And this might be a short, but the reward's too little. I like to short up here rather than short down here. I like to buy here and sell above here. Okay, that's the type of opportunities I'm looking for. Okay, Broadmark Realty Capital jumped 17% after agreed to buy the company. Okay, so forget about it already. Fubo shares fell 15%. So this is a streaming company. Okay, let's take a look. Fubo TV. Oop. Fubo. Okay, this company, wow. Okay, I mean, it's fallen. Not. This company has fallen a lot. $61 in 2021. Yeah, I mean, you can't short this. And right now, yeah, gap down, bad news, it keeps going lower. So I'm going to avoid. Okay, Fisker we talked about. CGen, okay, talked about. Tegna, 23% drop. So I'm trying to look for shorts here. Okay, I'm trying to look for stocks to short, but a lot of the companies have gone down quite a lot already. Now this one gapped up, or actually, sorry, this gapped down massively. So I mean, it's bouncing. There's a support right here, so I can't short this. I can't, especially after it's gone down 20-something%. Coursera fell. Okay, let's take a look. Coursera. Okay, this is a online education company. Okay, look at this. I can't short. See? It's fallen too much and it's already gapped down. Again, like to short above here, not short down here. Okay. I think that's it. All right. Let me know what you stock symbols you want me to take a look at, and I'll go through them. Type them in the question box. All right, so let me go through this list. All right, all things says Judy TV. Is that symbol? Judy TV? No. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Geo says Tesla. Okay, we reviewed that already. Sofina, SOF. Sofina. Okay, this is a Euro-based company. All right, so we can take a look at the charts. So the charts tell me this stock has fallen dramatically since 400 and something, and it is actually looking not too bad. Okay, I'm not going to recommend this or suggest this, but I do see some positivity in the stock. If we take a look at it, it's fallen very, very sharply. Okay, fallen very sharply. Now it's kind of basing. The good thing I like about this is it's made a low, and now it's making higher lows, and it's forming a chart formation called an ascending triangle right here. So it looks like it wants to break this 240 level. Okay, so looking at this chart formation and looking at an ascending triangle, the way to play this is if you want to, the safest way is to buy once it breaks above 240. If you feel that this stocking, you want to add a little bit of a starter position, what you can always do, since this is making higher lows, you can buy as close to this trend line here, buy your starter position. If it doesn't head higher, then exit right away. But if it works, you buy here and then you add more here. Okay, yeah, so this looks pretty good. Again, I don't know what this company does. Tin says there are good brokers that let you know which tickers have been mentioned on Twitter news. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. We all get the same source. But thanks for sharing. So you get to see what people are looking for, not just what's on CNBC. Okay, great. Richard says, hey, let's check out Apple. Okay, so we talked about Apple already. Coca-Cola, KO. I'm not a fan of trading these beverage companies like Pepsi or Coca-Cola. They're really choppy. Very, very hard to trade. But you can see here that I kind of did some analysis on this one. Couldn't break this level here, about 64. Goes sideways here, broke down. You know, look at this. So choppy. So choppy. I even tried to draw a trend line here. Probably have to extend it out like this. But you can see it's very, very choppy. If I were to look at this, it's basically just going sideways right now, quite frankly. Basically staying in this range. I would not be surprised if that stays in this range unless there's some type of a catalyst. But yeah, I don't have any comment on that. Amazon. Okay, Amazon I've been looking at before. It's not looking good. Not looking good. Okay, so Amazon actually reported earnings right here. Fell very sharply. It broke this upward trend line here. But what I can say very clearly is it's basically trading in a very, very wide range from 81 here, or 82, all the way to 103 here. Besides this is an anomaly. It's probably right now, I mean, what the chart's telling me, it's heading lower. It's heading lower. And again, you don't need me to tell you this. Look at the chart. It's, let's just say Jeff Bezos is not the richest man in the world right now. Has the price heads lower. You can see clearly it's, I mean, if I draw this line here, I mean, what, you tell me, what's the trend, right? Trend's down. And Meta, and again, I talked about that already. Okay, OnCar says Ultratech Cement. Doesn't look like a company that I usually would like to trade. Okay, it's a cement company, right? Assuming so. So let's take a look at this chart here. It's actually performing not too bad. It's performing not too bad. So what we can see here is it has broken this downtrend. Very, very clear. Look at this. Hit here, hit here, hit here. Staying above. And if we draw some lines right here, symmetrical triangle, broke out, came back to test here. So it looks like it is, at least short term, since the beginning of this year, it is heading higher. Okay, it's in this higher. So it's kind of forming a wedge. Okay, you can see this. It's forming a wedge. So what wedge will usually tell you is if it's an upward wedge, it will head lower. Okay, but if it doesn't break, it at some point, I mean, it's heading higher here, but if it breaks here, gotta be careful. Okay, but in general, if you look at the overall trend, it is broke this downtrend. It's kind of chopping up and down here. And you gotta respect this line here, right? It's hit this 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So until it can break out of this wedge, at some point, you can see it will break down. That's the wedge chart pattern. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. So thanks you all for joining. Just to let you guys know, if you guys are interested in working with me, you can apply at activetradersacademy.com, and I'll see you guys next week. And also, just want to give you guys just to thank you all for joining me on every Monday and going through some ideas. I will pick I'll pick a viewer next week on Monday. If you show up, I'm going to randomly pick someone, and I will offer the winner a free 1-hour session with me where I can help you with any challenges that you're facing. Will be a one-on-one call. And so yeah, make sure for those who are on this live stream here, make sure you show up next week. I will randomly pick someone and offer you a free one-on-one consultation with me. All right, guys, thank you all for joining me today, and take care, and see you guys next week. Bye-bye.